Hey everyone, what's up? This is Scott the Frozen Gamer on another warm Minnesota spring February. It's actually in the 40s. I wish it was in the 70s. Not quite there, but we are going to be in the 70s today as we're going through the numbers 80 through 71 of the top 100 most owned games of 2023, according to Board Game Geek. So these are all games that came out in 2023, and we're going to start with number 80, which is Stranger Things Upside Down. Stranger Things Upside Down. Kids of Hawkins work together to stop the evils from the Upside Down. The stats are 1,750 people owned it. It has a BGG ranking of 3,495 when I collected these stats. The BGG rank is 108th out of all games that came out in 2023. It has a 7.48 BGG rating, which put it 71st on this list. So in Stranger Things Upside Down, it's an interesting game. It's a cooperative game by Rob Daviau and Simon Games, and you're playing as the characters from Stranger Things, the good characters in Stranger Things, and you're going around and you're trying to pass these little tests throughout different parts of the map of the town of Hawkins and Stranger Things. And so it's super thematic because it has all the characters, it has all the feels of the TV show, but then it's really not that thematic because all you're trying to do is there's tokens on each area of the board and you add them all up. You don't know which some of them are going to be upside down, some are going to be face up, and you have to play cards out enough to pass these tests by beating the amount of total numbers of tokens when you add them all up, the sum of the numbers of tokens. So that's what you're trying to do to pass all these tests and have good things happen. Evil keeps having more bad things happen in a typical co-op style. It's a really solid game. And that's where I'll leave it with. So that's Stranger Things Upside Down, number 80. Number 79 is Narr. Assemble your Viking crew to explore new destinations in the world and trade. So Narr comes in at 79 with 1,766 people owning it, a BGG ranking of really high, 1,845, which put it 42nd out of all games that came out in 2023. It has a BGG rating of 7.41, which puts it at 80. And this is the 79th ranked game, a most owned game, so that's kind of right where it should be. And so Narr says assemble your Viking crew. It's really abstracted, though. Basically, you're playing out cards on a board to collect chips. Then you're using the chips to get new cards and victory points. And so it's kind of this engine building tableau, builder engine building type of game. The cool thing, though, that with this is that once you start building your engine, you actually destroy part of your engine to get more points, which is kind of cool. It sounds complex, but it's super, super light. This is designed by Thomas DuPont, and Bombix published it, Bombix. And that is your number 79, Narr. Number 78 is the Lord of the Rings adventure book game. Make your way through the Lord of the Rings saga one game at a time. Its stats are 1,775 people owned it when I collected the stats. BGG ranking of 4,440, which put it at 153 for the year out of 2023 games. It has a 7.31 rating that put it 87th out of these top 100 games. So Lord of the Rings adventure book game is you open up a book and it's got 8 chapters in it. And each chapter has like these challenges that you have to do and complete those challenges before you move on to the next chapter. It is exactly what it sounds like. It's an adventure book game in the likes of some others in that style. So it's by Ravensburger, designed by Jay Little, Ryan Miller, and Marcus Ross. If you like Lord of the Rings and want to kind of make the books into a game, that's what this one is, still in book form. So that's it. Lord of the Rings adventure book game. Coming in at number 77 is Tare Horde. Fight waves of monsters and defeat the outsider to repel the horde. It's by Giacomo Neri, Riccardo Neri, and published by Tare Games themselves. And its stats are One more person owned it than the Lord of the Rings adventure book game with 1,776. Has a 3,374 BGG ranking, which put it 97th for the year. It has a 7.44 BGG rating, which put it 77 out of these top 100s, exactly where it ranks in most owned, at 77. So what do you do in Tare Horde? It's basically, you can play it as co-op, but I've heard most people play it as a solo game. And basically, so you got these lanes of so you have these bad guys that kind of spawn new you have a boss that spawns new bad guys, and they start coming down the board, and you're trying to not get hit. It's a tower defense game. You have your tower at the bottom, and you're trying to not let those guys get hit, but it also has the feel of like Keyforge and Magic as well, except in solo play, you're playing it against the board. So that's kind of cool in itself. And it's just neat that they mixed kind of the mechanisms with the tower defense game, which is really interesting. And I don't think it's been done before. You're trying to close off portals, a portal that then the bad guy gets spawned out, the big boss gets spawned out, and then you got to kill him, and before all of that, before your tower gets destroyed by the bad guys. It's that's Tare Horde, number 77. So number 76 is Race to the Raft. Not a whitewater rafting game. This is guide cats across the burning Isle of Cats and get them safely to the raft. We'll go over the stats real quick. The stats for Race to the Raft is 1,780 people own it. It has a 3,587 BGG ranking, which put it at 113th out of 2023 games. A 7.62 BGG rating, which put it 60th out of these top 100. Again, number 76 overall in most owns. So, Race to the Raft. This is, as it said in the little blurb that they give about the game, is in the universe of Isle of Cats, but this is a co-op game. So if you like Isle of Cats but you want to play it play in that world in a co-op form, this is your game. You have cats that are starting out in different areas. There's a raft they're trying to get to. They're trying to race to the raft, and as fire is kind of surrounding them and blocking the paths off, and that's basically the game. It's really cool. I've watched it played before. And what's really neat about this, there's 81 scenarios in the game. 81. That's insane. So Race to the Raft, number 76. Number 75 is Unmatched Brains and Brawn. This is another unmatched game in the Marvel Universe. So what characters are in this one? Well, there's Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, and She-Hulk. Spider-Man, of course, I knew about. Doctor Strange, I know of him. She-Hulk, I never knew existed, which is kind of cool, though, that she does exist. And I'm not a comic book fan, superhero fan at all, so that's why I don't know about this stuff. But this is more Marvel in the Unmatched version. There was 2 in last week's video. Unmatched, if you don't know, it's a 2-player game. You set up on different sides of the board, and you move around, and you have your own unique decks, your own unique character that you can pick from. You can pick Spider-Man versus a character from a completely different version of the game, and you just go off until you knock all the power out of one person, and that's the game. It's a great game. Marvel's not for me, but it is for most people, so this would be a good buy. Next up at number 74 is Ancient Knowledge by Remy Matthew, and it's published by Yellow Games. It has 1,824 people own it, which is nice big jump coming up from Unmatched. 2,419 BGG ranking, which put it 57th out of all 2023 games. A 7.3 BGG rating, which put it at 88th out of all games. So, Ancient Knowledge is another fairly light game, and another tableau builder and engine builder, and you're basically putting out cards on a timeline, and as the timeline goes down, and there's knowledge that goes on those cards as you put them on the timeline. As the timeline goes down, you want to save the knowledge and get rid of it off the top of the cards. And then as the cards fall down, it's like building another tableau off of the end of history as they've gone through history. And you're just trying to do the best with that. It says create unique card combinations to keep your civilization alive. It is a Civ game. It doesn't really feel like a Civ game too much, but it's cool tableau builder, cool engine building game. And that is Ancient Knowledge. Number 73 is a game that I actually really want to try playing. I haven't played it yet. It is Nemalia. Build the best animal sanctuary in a limited space with changing objectives. It's designed by William Levin, and published by Le Boat de Jeu. And its stats are 1,857 people own it, putting it at 73. It has a BGG ranking of 2,870, which put it 71st for the year, and a 7.26 BGG rating, which put it 90th out of these top 100. This is a super light game. Basically, you have these these cards that are split up into fours, and you're trying to do meet objectives that are out on the game. Every round of the 5 rounds have a new objective or different objectives of the 4 that are possible ones. You only try to do certain objectives each round, and you build out your cards into a 6x6 grid. It's kind of has a feel of like a King Domino meets the playing of cards in a Sprawlopolis style button shy game type of way, because you can cover up parts of the card or the whole card if you wanted to, but you cover up usually parts of the card to try to build out your space to make the best kind of sections like in King Domino, and to meet the objectives that are for that round. Super light game, super light, but really cool. Nemalia. At number 72 is The Search for Lost Species by Matthew O'Malley, Ben Rossett, and published by Renegade Game Studios. And this one is the sequel, I guess, of sorts to The Search of Planet X. Just a crunchy deduction game. Let's go over the stats real quick. It has 1,888 people that owned it, putting it in 72nd for the year. 2,556 BGG ranking, which put it at 61st out of all games that came out in 2023. It has a 7.97 BGG rating, which puts it at 35th out of these top 100 games. So it's a pretty strong rating there. As I said, it's the follow-up to Search for Planet X. If you didn't like the space theme, but like the animal theme, go this way. This one is a bit more crunchier. It's a step up from Search for Planet X, which is already a super crunchy game. They're not hard games to understand. They're really easy games to understand. Rules level complexity, not that bad. Mental complexity, like having your brain melt, very, very much so. It also plays great solo. At least Search for Planet X does. I haven't played Lost Species yet, but this one, a couple differences are that you move around a board instead of having the static board in this one, where you're going around the outside and that's it. This one, you actually move around an actual board, and there is a multiple different species you can look for instead of just in like Planet X. You're only ever searching for Planet X. This one has different species you can search for, only one per game, but different ones to vary that up a little bit. Again, it's supposed to be a step up from Planet X. So if you want that, if you like the theme better, get Search for Lost Species. Number 72 most owned game from 2023. And our 71st and last one on this list of the most owned games of 2023 is another re-implementation of sorts, and that's Sleeping Gods Primeval Peril. It came in with 1,891 owns, 3 more than Search for Lost Species. Has a 6,096 BGG ranking, which put it at 233rd for the year, and an 8.01 BGG rating, which put it at 30th out of these top 100. So this was a print and play off the original campaign of Sleeping Gods, and I believe off the original campaign, and they made it into an actual small game. So it is, instead of being up to, I believe, 4 players or more, or whatever it is in Sleeping Gods, I can't remember. This one only plays 1 to 2 people, and instead of having like a lot of characters that you play from, this one has up to 4 characters that you're going to be playing with, and it's also, designed by Ryan Lockett, of course, and Red Raven Games published it. This is a version I'd go with. I played Sleeping Gods solo. I started to, and I was just overwhelmed with the amount of characters that I played with, and it was just too much for me to do solo. This is so much more manageable. Seems like it's kind of like the Gloomhaven, Jaws of the Lion but Sleeping Gods instead of Gloomhaven. So I would go with this one, especially to start with if I was to do it all over again, because it just seems so much more manageable. It says, venture through the jungle in the standalone game set in the world of Sleeping Gods. Lost my camera for a second. I am back, and I am done. So that is numbers 80 through 71. It went really quick today. And next time we'll be going through numbers 70 through 61. There's some interesting ones here as I'm looking at the list already that I'm excited to talk about. And that's it. So we'll have a few more of these lists, and then we'll move on to some other statistics and analysis. That's it. Peace. Stay cool in this warm spring February. Peace.